The breaking news is that ShotCity has a new gun. Welcome to ShotCity, baby! Hey guys, ShotCity here with another review for you. This one is of the Taurus GX4. So, let's get into this, but first let's talk about how far Taurus has come as a manufacturer. So, Taurus started off with a rough reputation. Back in the day, their guns weren't that great, but they seem to have turned things around probably in like 2016, 2017 when they released the Taurus PT-111 Millennium G2, and then that turned into the G2C, and since then they've released the G3C, G3, and now we're getting the GX4, the new micro compact from Taurus. So the GX4 was just released last week, making it the newest micro compact on the market. Now these micro compact pistols are awesome, right? They're small little guns that are not like your traditional compact pistols like the normal shield and the Glock 43 and some of those other firearms like the the EC9S by Ruger. This is just a completely new class of firearms. These are tiny little pistols that have features of full-size, full-framed guns like night sights on them, front and rear cocking serrations. But the other thing about these, you're not just getting that 6-round or 8-round magazine. You're getting at least a 10-round magazine, and in some cases, the capability to put a 15-round magazine in these firearms, these little tiny firearms. So let's talk about, what this micro compact series of pistols has looked like. Now, you've got the Glock 43X, the Sig Sauer P365, the Springfield Hellcat, the Ruger Max 9, and the M&P Shield Plus that have all come before the Taurus G4X. So Taurus has some big shoes to fill here, but can they compete, right? That's the question. Can they compete with all these other firearms that are out there? Well, Taurus is definitely competing price-wise with a sub $400 price tag on this pistol. Definitely puts them, kind of ahead of the game because they're known as a budget manufacturer that makes good guns. So people are going to gravitate towards that naturally. And a lot of people follow Taurus for that reason. Now, let's talk about the features of the GX4. You've got front and rear cocking serrations. You've got 3-dot white sights. You've got a pretty nice aggressive grip texture on this firearm. And then it features 2 11-round magazines in such a small package. And Taurus has already alluded to the fact that they're coming out with a 13-round magazine very soon. So that's awesome, right? You're going to get that 13-round magazine, that extended grip, so you can get your pinky on the firearm. Then Taurus also included a new offering from them, a flat face trigger on this gun. And I gotta say, this trigger is very, very nice. Overall, it's a nice trigger, right? So it's about a 5 or 6 pound break on this trigger, but overall, it's a nice, smooth take up to a very, very solid wall. The wall is actually maybe a little too stiff, in my opinion. But I will say this, there is no creep after you hit that wall. Right after that wall, you're going to break that trigger. As far as the takedown on this particular firearm, I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping that they would stick with the traditional like G2C style takedown for disassembly as far as just like field stripping your firearm. but instead they went with the Spectrum takedown, which is kind of like a turn key or like a screw turn takedown, which isn't bad. It's still functional. I just prefer not to have to use tools when I'm taking down my firearm to clean it. I'd rather be able to do that with my hands. Then let's talk about, you know, how that trigger felt in live fire. So yeah, it's a stiff trigger pull. As far as when you hit that wall, it is stiff, and when you get past that initial take up, you hit that hard wall, and it's almost like you can't really tell how much pressure is needed to pull the trigger, so you have a tendency to over pull, which, I mean, that can happen with any firearm, so you can blame the shooter or you can blame the gun. So this gun is like other guns in its class as far as shootability. It is undoubtedly a snappy firearm, right? So all the micro compacts are going to be snappy. They're lightweight guns. They usually carry, you know, a 9mm cartridge in them. So you're going to get a decent amount of snap. But this gun by far takes the cake. And I would consider it the most snappy of the micro compacts that I've had the opportunity to shoot, which include the Glock 43X, the Hellcat, and the P365. Now, with that being said, after 5 shots with this firearm, so my buddy and I went into the range. We did a 5-shot test firing of this firearm each, right? And when we came out of there, our hands were stinging. Now, yeah, okay, you know, you shoot a 44 Magnum 5 times, your hands might sting, but a 9mm, that just shouldn't happen, right? So, not to be unfair to the firearm, it did group very well. This firearm grouped very well. We did, like I said, have a little bit of trouble with the trigger breaking, with you know, like not being able to tell how many pounds of pressure of trigger pull it would take to break that trigger. So you did have the tendency, for me, I'm left-handed, I pulled low and right. My buddy, he pulled low and left. But this firearm, at the end of the day, the Taurus GX4 is a tool. It's a tool that's going to be used as a carry gun. So is it adequate enough to compete with the other firearms in this class? Is it adequate enough to do the job that it's designed to do? I believe so, absolutely. Now, with that being said, I would like to spend some more time with this firearm. Obviously, a 5-shot test is just not a lot, but it's what I had to work with. So guys, thanks for watching. This is ShotCity. I appreciate you. Please like and subscribe. Peace.